Question 1. This is just question 1 and 2 are both about fractions and using them, converting them. So we need to be getting as close to 100% on these as possible. Write 0.3 as a fraction. Well, I need to really understand what this 3 is representing, and it's representing tenths. If we think about our hundreds, tens, units and so on, I'll just show it to you here. We've got hundreds, tens, units, and then we've got the decimal point, after which we've got tenths. We've got the next column would be hundredths, the next column thousandths, and so on. So what have we got here? 0.3, that's 0 units and 3 tenths. How do I write 3 tenths as a fraction? Write it 3 tenths. 4%, well here we have to understand what percent means. Percent means out of 100, so 4% is 4 out of 100. So that would be as a fraction. As a decimal, well, out of 100, well, 0, well, if I look here, back here at I want 4 hundredths, don't I? If it's 4%, it's 4 out of 100, it's 4 lots, 4 100ths. So it will be 0.0, no tenths, and 4 hundredths. 0.04 as a decimal. Okay. For each part, circle the fraction whose value is closest to 1. So the way which I'm going to work out is I'm going to see how far away from 1 each of these is. So I'm on question 2 now. First one, 4/5. How far away from 1 is 4/5? Well, it's 1/5 away. If I add 1/5 onto 4/5, I'll have 5/5, which is the same as 1. So it's 1/5 away. Next one, 19/20. How many? What do I have to add on to get to 1? Well, I just have to add 1/20th. So it's only 1/20th away. What about this one? It's 1/10th away. And this one, 1 and 1/15th. Well, if I take off 1/15th, I'll just be left with 1. So that's 1/15th away. So which one is the closest to 1? Well, it's the smallest amount away. Now, 1/5 is quite a long way away because it's 1/5 is quite a substantial chunk. If you imagine it as a sort of a pie, 1/5 is about sort of that much there. That's 1/5. 1/20th is a much smaller amount away, isn't it? It's only about kind of that much. 1/20th is the closest to 1, therefore it's not very away from 1. So 19/20 would be my correct answer. Which one of these is closest to 1? Well, I've got some mixed numbers and some improper fractions. I'm going to convert them all to mixed numbers. Mixed numbers is where you have a whole units amount and a fraction amount. So how far is this away from 1? Well, that's 1. Between 1 and 2 is a whole 1 and another quarter, so that's 1 1/4 away. Firstly, what is this 11/4 as a mixed number? Well, 4/4 would be 1, so 8/4 would be 2, so 11/4 is 2 and 4/4, so 2 and 3/4. How far is that one away from 1? Well, it's 1 more and 3/4, so it's 1 and 3/4 away from 1. This is away from 1. Minus an eighth. Well, how much would I have to? How do I get to 1 from minus an eighth? I have to add on an eighth. That takes me to 0, and plus another 1. That takes me up to 1. So that's 1 and 1/8 away from 1. And minus 1 1/4. Well, that's further away than minus an eighth, isn't it? I have to add on 1 1/4 to get to 0, and then a further 1, so 2 to get to 1. So that's 2 1/4 away. So which one's closest? Well, 1 1/4, that's 1 whole and a quarter more. That's obviously not as far away as 1 3/4, but 1 1/8 is just 1 whole and an eighth, which is about that much. So that one is closer to 1. So this is the closest to 1, and that's question 1 and 2.